Okay, welcome. I'm Annie Batchelder, and I am the creator of the Chronic Wellness Process Support Group. I want to thank you for joining this informational gathering. It means the world to me that you are reaching out and investigating resources to support you in your spiritual growth and your higher expression of truth. I want you to know that I see you. I know you. I understand your struggles. The Chronic Wellness Support Group provides help by making life easier, more pleasurable, and more satisfying. As is my custom, we'll open with a short prayer and a brief centering meditation. By the power of the light within us, born of the I Am consciousness, come Holy Spirit, Spirit of light, Spirit of truth. Infuse this group, these individuals, with divine light. Guide our hearts and minds with divine love. All right, closing your eyes, take a few deep, cleansing, relaxing breaths. Let your focus be inward. Find a point of light on one big toe. Just locate that light with your awareness. Now locate a point of light on your other big toe. Now find a point of light in one knee and in the other knee. And find a point of light in one hip and then the other hip. Now find a point of light in one shoulder and the other shoulder. Find a point of light in the centermost part of your skull. And find its counterpart as a point of light in your tailbone. And now find a point of light in the very center of the trunk of your body. This point of light in the trunk of your body is your permanent atom of light. And it travels with you throughout time, from body to body to body, and is with you even during the in-between life periods of time. It's your energy signature in the universe. You might take a moment to connect all these points of light. Connect them all. Open the top of your head and call your soul's light to you. Come, soul, fill me with your light. Let that light fill you up with its honey-like qualities, sparkling, brilliant, effective, loving, healing. Let that soul light go all the way through you. Beautiful, beautiful. Now notice that each cell in your body is reflecting your soul's light. Each cell in your body has a corresponding spark of light. to your cell. Each cell in the body knows it belongs with this soul, connected in this way. And the light knows what to do. The light, in its infinite wisdom, brings whatever is needed today. Allow that light to swell, to fill your body and to expand outside your body. Stabilize yourself here. Bring that condition with you as we come slowly back to the room, into ordinary consciousness. All right. The purpose of this gathering is to briefly tell you my story, which illustrates the chronic wellness process. The purpose and extended results of the support group are going to be discussed, and we're going to talk about what you can expect from me in the chronic wellness process support group. And I'm going to discuss what you are committed to as your part of being a participant in the chronic wellness process. And then I'm going to give you some other opportunities for how you can interact with me and take me up on some of my services. All right. I'm going to tell you my story, but I suggest that while you're listening to my story, you note the 6 elements of recovery as we go through my story. And the 6 elements are spiritual reading and prayer and meditation, exercise or physical therapy, or maybe both, nutrition, sharing and listening, journaling, and self-care. So in 1961, my family moved to San Anselmo from the Redding area. I'm the youngest of 3, a daughter of 2 people from Minnesota, very solid citizens. My dad was a builder and a math teacher, a very do-it-yourself guy. And my mother was a very earthy homemaker, gardener, organic, composter, and she was very much do-it-yourself. I saw her build a picnic table out of reclaimed lumber when I was about 10. It was great. I have an older brother and a sister here in Marin County as well, and they're both of the same ilk, as am I. I grew up to be an athletic, enthusiastic, hardworking, self-sufficient, and very healthy woman. I work from my home where I live with my beautiful partner, Peter, and I work from there as well. Anyway, so in 1975, there was the first real concrete spiritual event, and I was 17, and this psychic therapist awakened me to the realm of white light and psychic or intuitive healing. When I asked her, what is that light? Because I was experiencing it pulsing and changing colors and constantly moving, and sometimes shapes would form up that looked like a face or some eyes or a profile. And then it was fascinating to see this and sometimes scary, and I didn't know what it was. And she said, well, if I called it Christ light, would that make sense to you? And I didn't know anything about Christianity, but the term Christ light made absolute sense to me. And from then on, I've been calling the light to me and watching with my eyes closed what it's doing and how it feels and how it makes me feel. I also had my first major health problem, and that was my first of 3 tubal pregnancies when I was 17, and that required major surgery as well. The second big spiritual event happened about 10 years later. I received my first ever psychic reading with Sanea Roman by phone. That was my starting readings by phone. And when I was in that reading with her and she was talking away, I could see my light. They reflected my light back to me, and I could see how brilliant and vital and intense and dynamic it was. And I was just amazed, sort of a little afraid, because it was like, I have to live up to this, but it was worth it. The reading with Sanea initiated a major change in my life, and shortly after that I quit my high-tech sales job, and then in 1985 and 86, I had my tubal pregnancies number 2 and 3, 5 months apart, major surgeries all over again, and then about a year later, we adopted a newborn baby, and the mother changed her mind. And so after having this newborn baby for 28 days, I had to get this child back to the mother. So I found myself asking, okay, God, what is it you want me to do? Clearly it's not having a family, but please show me what you want me to do. So then in 1988, shortly after that, I received an invitation from Sanea Roman and Dwayne Packer, her teaching partner, to a class called Awakening Your Light Body. And this is a profound, esoteric, energy sensing skills and consciousness expansion class. And it was marvelous. It took a while to get up to speed with all the skills and so forth involved with the class on Awakening Your Light Body, but I did it. The trick, though, in that invitation was that I had to know how to channel, and I didn't know at that time. So I got Sanea and Dwayne's book that was sort of hot off the press. They had just written it, and I read it and learned to channel and went to class, and I went and channeled for others, and it turns out I was pretty good at it, and I liked it. I loved being in that space and being in the energies and so sensitive to what was going on. Let's see. I even taught Opening to Channel, and I taught Awakening Your Light Body. So a very amazing set of classes. So 2 years later, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And this was a walloper. Multiple sclerosis is a nervous system disorder where the immune system attacks the nerve fibers and the sheath on the outside of the nerve fibers in the spinal cord and the brain, and that affects their functioning and often leaves scarring in its wake, which causes disability. I experienced exacerbations, meaning MS attacks, every year or so, almost all involving the right side of my body, and that it affected my speech, my vision, my coordination, my endurance, my balance, my strength. You know, pretty much there wasn't a real system that wasn't touched by this. And during the early years, I was able to recover enough between exacerbations to keep working or go back to work after a short period of time off, about half-time or three-quarter time. And I was able to recover enough to do some channeled readings as well. And I was doing a fair amount of meditation at this point. But in 1994, I stopped doing readings and I stopped meditating. And it's notable that this initiated a decline in my health. Without the spiritual influence of meditating and doing readings, I really suffered. I stopped because I felt like a fraud, because I was drinking and doing drugs almost every day. And I felt like I couldn't be in the light and be of service to people in that condition, which was probably correct. But in 2001, 11 years later, I had the worst attack of all. And this put me into disability for sure. During that attack, I had to learn to walk again. I had no right arm use because that was paralyzed. And when we got it unparalyzed, I had to learn to use my right hand and redevelop all the skills like how to eat and how to write and use it for buttons and get my hands and arms working in the way they're supposed to. Lots of PT and OT during this time. My disability required that I live with my mother because I could not take care of myself. She did my shopping and my errands for me. She did my laundry. I couldn't get downstairs to where the laundry room was. I had to be on one floor where my bedroom, the bathroom, and the kitchen and the driveway were all on the same plane, same floor. And so I had to live with my mother. She was so sweet. She took such good care of me. And now I channeled Anubis periodically for guidance, mostly for myself and for a few clients at this time. Even at my most ill and disabled, I still had the ability to develop spiritually, and I found that disability had a lot of pluses. Now, some of those pluses came out of the fact that in 2000, a year before I was disabled with MS, I faced my alcoholism and my drug addiction. And it was the first time I had a constructive process for healing a chronic, acute, terrible disease or set of diseases, and using prayer and spiritual principles. And that has shaped me immensely. You know, when I quit drinking, this is the way it started. I came to a point where I could not stop drinking on my own. I drank. I didn't want to drink, and I drank. And I was watching an Oprah show, and she had a guest on there who said this one quote, I will never forget it. For every step towards the light you take, the light takes 10 steps towards you. And that was so comforting. That made me feel so empowered and that I was not alone and that my tiny little attempts at calling the light to me were worth it and that the light would come to me in strong ways. And the guest talked also about the power of prayer, so I began to pray this prayer. Please, God, remove from me the obsession to drink. And I prayed that for several months to no effect. And then finally, one night, I walked in the house and I didn't have to drink. It was like, I'm just not going to drink tonight. I'm just not going to drink tonight. And that was the beginning of my sobriety career. And much to my surprise, working the 12 steps of AA got me into a deeper, more refined and a true reliance upon the divine, a growing reliance. It hasn't been overnight, and I still have to be reminded that I have a beautiful, beautiful higher power that wants to help me all the time. And I call my higher power the light. That's my experience of it. So anyway, back to what I found, that being disabled, there were certain pluses. I had time to learn to meditate. I had time to practice living by spiritual principles, and I had time to rest and heal without pressure of making a living, producing the meals. I had time to just really recover. It was a privilege and an opportunity to acquire these new skills and make these necessary changes. I had time to work with that. I had time to develop a new self-image that was not based solely upon my physicality, but more upon my spirit. I had time to volunteer at Rin Services for Women, which was a drug and alcohol rehab center for women that unfortunately is no longer here. It was just really valuable. Being disabled opened my heart to others and softened my judgment about others, especially others with illnesses and limitations. I had been formerly very, very rudely arrogant about illnesses, and now I couldn't be. One way to tame the pride, huh? Also, disability simplified my life, and it gave me the perspective of what's really essential here, today, right now. So I also used exercise, sharing, and journaling in the process of recovering from disability, this whole decade of disability. I walked every day, as little or as much as I could, and it was very little to start with because I was walking with a 4-prong cane, and if I made it out to the top of my driveway and back down without falling over or hurting myself. And that was the most I could do. But the next day, I tried to go, a foot or 3 feet further. And the next day, I went just a little bit further than that. And I just added time and space and steps incrementally. I didn't demand of myself that I should be an athlete once again right away. I did what I could. And sometimes it was very small. I did lots of PT and OT to regain the motor skills and to rebalance my weak side with my strong side. Speaks to all of whom I am. We are balancing my weak side with my strong side. In 2004, also, I had to really up the spiritual ante. And one night I had a huge conversation with God, and that helped me quit smoking. And so by the morning, I was a non-smoker. It was like being in prayer the entire night in order to become a non-smoker. And it worked. Journaling helped me to practice the radical self-acceptance that's required to make it through the good days and the bad days, and sometimes the good mornings and the awful afternoons and the disappointment that happened because of it. That was huge. I had to write about the steps. I had to write and process my feelings and come full circle with my feelings. I'd start out completely victimized by something, and then I'd come full circle and find my part in it and see what it is that I could be empowered to change or adjust in me, rather than wishing, if that person would only change, I'd be happy. Doesn't work like that. Sharing and listening at AA and Al-Anon meetings really helped me to mature spiritually. It helped me to work with AA sponsees, and I volunteered at the Marin Services for Women for 8.5 years, like more than 2 evenings a week. It was just a tiny little volunteer job, but it allowed me to experience my usefulness still in the world, whether I was disabled or not, and I got to contribute to others, and I wasn't just a drain on the public coffers. So in 2010, I was still disabled, but I managed to be in a relationship with this guy and moved into an apartment some years earlier. But in 2010, I developed the morning habit of reading spiritual material and then meditating. And I was reading books by Joel S. Goldsmith, a Christian mystic, that, the words took me so much to digest and to take in. I inched through those books, but I was so hungry for the information and the experience that I had of working with his material and the spirituality that he presented and made available through his writing. It was fabulous. I read Eckhart Tolle and, the Four Agreements and a bunch of other books. Anyway, but I would read for a period of time in the morning while I drank tea, and then I would do my morning meditation. And, I came out of one meditation one morning, and this was my first spiritual breakthrough directly from meditation. I came out of meditation and I thought, I wonder what would happen if I quit eating wheat and sugar. It seems like everything bad for me rides in wheat and sugar or involves wheat and sugar, or, this was going to do an experiment. I didn't have a lot of charge on it. I wasn't going to try and change my life forever. I didn't make it real serious. It was just sort of like, I wonder what happened. So I quit eating wheat and sugar, and, there was a clarity that came about in my brain. There was some of that fogginess, that fatigue and fog was lifted. And next thing I know, I'm able to shop for myself. I may not be able to do a whole lot else in that day, but I could get out, drive to the store, shop for myself, and get groceries that I could eat. I could read the labels, be careful, really make choices about what I was putting into my body. And I got better, and things started to really pick up. And then in about June 2010, that same year, I was reminded about Lobsang Dondep, the Tibetan traditional Tibetan physician that I have been using for this whole time, this last 7-8 years. And I started going to see him, and he prescribed herbs and a custom diet that was for my body, that really fit for me. It wasn't me experimenting. It wasn't me trying to lose a bunch of weight. You know, it was nutrition that worked for my body and herbs that dealt with my body's difficulties and strengthened those weak parts. And, you know, one morning about that time, I woke up with this urgent need, like, I have got to get my workout in the world. I have got to do channeling for people. And I've got to hold meditation classes. And it's like, this was huge. So I launched on that. And then 14 months later, I found myself well. Like, I was no longer disabled. And it was a strange experience. I had to really have a chat with myself. You know, Annie, are you willing to be well? Yeah, I'm willing. Annie, are you willing to give up all the little special treatment cards and special categories that you're in because you're disabled? Yeah, I'm willing. You might have to get a job. Oh, okay. But I found myself well. And then I found myself, instead of my mother taking care of me, I was helping her to downsize from the family home and move out into a townhouse instead of a big old house. And I'm carrying boxes up and down stairs and sorting things and working all day to help her do this. And I was no longer disabled. I was doing stairs. That was amazing. And stairs with holding boxes. That was even more amazing. Like, these are the stairs that I avoided like the plague when I was disabled. Anyway, so currently I continue to meditate and pray. And I take the Tibetan herbs as prescribed. I follow the special diet. And I take my Western medication because I can do both. I can do Western, Eastern, and I can do both. And I need both. Both makes for even playing field. My body works fabulously. And my mind feels good. My emotions feel wonderful. You know, some of the things that I do that I consider self-care is that I do the work I love. I am committed to doing this chronic wellness support group. I am committed to doing Divine Portal Akashic Records reading. I'm committed to being a contribution to others and to bringing forth those things that have helped me and expanded my life and improved my health. Anyway, I meditate. I get weekly chiropractic adjustments because that has been a significant part of my wellness and my getting to a place of wellness. I exercise. I sometimes get specialized body work called neuromuscular reprogramming. I sometimes get beamer sessions, which I can tell you about later. I try to get extra rest if I get tired. If I hear myself saying, oh man, I'm tired, I'm really tired, then I know I'm not going to make dinner tonight. Honey, we're going out. And he's like, great. Or I will take a day off. And I will be a lump on the couch and watch a bunch of TV, and I will be better tomorrow. I just rest. I do whatever it takes to rest when I need it. I eat regular meals, like on schedule, breakfast, lunch, and dinner of the diet that was prescribed to me by Lab Sangdonda. And I just continue what I've been doing that works. So I want you to know that I serve you best as a compassionate guide and fellow traveler on the path. I am no all-knowing guru. I am not that. I am just a human being who's figured a couple of things out. Not everything clearly, but a few things. And my higher purpose and that of my guide Anubis is to enhance the soul connection in order to receive its loving wisdom and to grow spiritually. That's my higher purpose right there. So let's talk about the premise of the chronic wellness process. This is a quote from my Akashic masters, teachers, and loved ones when I was doing an Akashic Records reading for myself. And they said, everything begins as energy, and everything in life is set up to serve your highest good, to help you evolve towards a greater love and acceptance of self and others. This is the process. It may take time for you to incorporate acceptance and non-resistance, at which point healing can occur. It is not up to you when or what healing happens. That's the God part. However, there is always an appropriate energy progression. Now, me, Annie, I'm saying that it has been my experience, not only in my life, but in the course of helping over 850 people, that when a person is spiritually aligned, everything else improves. The Chronic Wellness Process Support Group is a monthly online class that is fundamentally spiritual and experiential. The process begins with spiritual activities that revitalize your connection to spirit. Then we layer physical elements such as exercise, journaling, sharing, and listening. We layer these things in one at a time, over time. No rushing. Rushing and pushing does not work. We can do this adding in more elements of recovery because we prepared ourselves spiritually. We have prepared fertile ground through spiritual methods. Now, along with this monthly online class, there is independent study and homework. Fall in love with homework, folks. Homework has been one of the greatest boons of my spiritual growth and gives me a chance to really go into my own knowingness and that information and guidance received from my masters, my teachers and loved ones, or my guide Anubis, and really develop these things and take them to heart. And that alone is healing. So, let's see. The goal here is to become receptive to the light of your soul, its wisdom and guidance. Then the soul can truly light your healing path. After all, it's your soul's idea to use a health issue to direct you inward. So I'm going to give you some definitions that I'm working with in the Chronic Wellness Program process. My definition for chronic is any condition that has persisted for a long time or is constantly occurring. And my definition for healing, I'm borrowing this from Dr. Linda Howe, who wrote the book, How to Read the Akashic Records, Accessing the Archive of the Soul's Entire Journey, one of my best teachers. She uses the definition, to cause an undesirable condition to be overcome, to restore to original purity or integrity, to return to a sound state. So those are the definitions we're working with. The truth of the matter is that owning a body requires persistent, recurring, positive physical and spiritual attention in a variety of forms. That's just the truth. That's what's necessary for anybody, chronic condition or no. So, the intended results of the Chronic Wellness Process Support Group is this. And this is a quote from my guide, Anubis. I channel much of what I do in these classes and in my own inner work. Either channeling or going into my Akashic records. So, quote, in truth, the higher purpose of the chronic wellness process is to consciously create the soul-infused self, to create repeatable experiences of connecting with the soul in order to infuse the physical self with the soul's light, which results in increased wellness, peace of mind, self-acceptance, increased functioning, and increased ability to be present and involved with life. The chronic wellness process is a soul-level approach to life as a whole that allows you to respect, honor, and grow from your physical experience. What a good guide. Isn't it great? In summary, though, you're cooperating with your body, integrating your spirit, and acknowledging your soul's purpose and creating your condition, you'll discover that you can have a rich and fulfilling life, no matter what your physical status is that day. So let me tell you a little bit about the methods I use. We'll be using my divine portal prayer to the heart of the Akashic Record to reach a higher plane of consciousness and to connect you with your unlimited soul and refuel and refill your spiritual life. The Akashic Records hold the archive of the soul's entire journey, and they're governed by 3 absolutes. This is now great energy. Fear not, judge not, resist not. That alone is healing. I regard experience as having meaning and impact. I use guided meditations as an experiential teaching method to draw out your wisdom, providing exactly what you need to know and experience. This is especially helpful in understanding our soul's purposes for utilizing chronic health conditions, which I assert are to direct us inward towards spirit. Okay, what you can expect from me. As we commence each support group, we'll do a brief centering meditation, just as we did for this event. I will present information on the topic of the month. Then we'll open the divine portal to the heart of the Akashic Records, and that will be the beginning of the first guided meditation. You'll need to take notes during these classes. They're 2 hours long. Can I tell you that? 2-hour classes, once a month. You'll need to take notes during these classes. I will present more information in the second guided meditation process. I'll explain the homework assignment, and we'll close with a prayer. That's the format. I am so excited. Some of the classes that we're going to work with are the ones that address shame, fear of failure, guilt, overcompensation, rejection, you bet. All these different really, really powerful topics. I love questions. I have fallen in love with questions ever since I came to work with the Akashic Records, because questions are the can openers to spiritual knowledge and experience. There is more energy in the question than in the answer. However, here's an example of one of the questions that you'll be asked in the process of working with the Chronic Wellness Process Support Group. How has rejection of your body, whether by judging it or sequestering yourself as unacceptable and socially unappealing because of your illness, non-function, or how has rejection of your body, whether by judging it, sequestering yourself as unacceptable and socially unappealing, how has that impacted your life? It's changed you. It changes you. And it's worthy of looking at, unpacking that question. So we'll work with that. Okay, here's another quote from Anubis, my guide. Releasing is a huge part of the process. Releasing the penalties that you hold against yourself because of illness, non-function, feeling different, separate or alone is healing. End quote. This combination of information, guided inquiry, and the healing energy you receive in the Akashic plane provides a structure within which you will feel spiritually connected and directed. You're able to shift your understanding and your perspective. You'll relate lovingly to yourself physically and respond appropriately to your needs. You'll update your sense of self and your identity. And you'll function better as you feel better physically, emotionally, and mentally. I will be following your progress through three main avenues. I will be tracking your progress through the tracking sheets that I'm providing for you and your monthly emails containing your journal notes. Remember, it's better done than perfect. Perfectionism. Using my clairvoyance, I will also see how you are progressing energetically. Now, you'll have a one-on-one 20 to 30 minute consultation with me regarding your particular needs and your intentions for the Chronic Wellness Process Support Group. You'll have unlimited access to my Vital Spirits guided meditation. You'll access my list of alternative healthcare professionals that have helped me and continue to help me. You'll get special pricing for Divine Portal Akashic Records readings if you're a registered and paid support group member. You'll receive help in building a joyful, disciplined life that includes spiritual reading, meditation, fitness, journaling, and be able to share with others in the group. You'll track and report your progress and your challenges with tools, processes, and non-judgmental support. You will receive special tuition for classes on how to read the Akashic Records and the health survey class. Listen, the people who I've worked with previously and who have succeeded in the greatest way with this program and this process are the people who have taken these two classes, how to read the Akashic Records and the health survey class. It is so empowering. It'll jet you right up into the top of the list, into the fourth dimension, as they say. So let's talk about what you're committing to. During your 20 to 30 minute intake interview, we'll determine the duration or type of exercise and or physical therapy that is appropriate for you, that you can undertake without under-exercising or over-exercising and hurting yourself for not less than 4 times per week. So you're going to exercise 4 times a week. You are committing to 20 minutes of spiritual reading prior to 20 minutes of meditation, not less than 5 times a week. I recommend reading and meditating every day. It makes a more conditioned habit. It's the morning, I always do a little reading and I always do my meditation. It's part of my process. It's like, taking a shower or putting on my makeup or getting dressed to go out. It's that I need to meditate before I start all these activities. It makes such a difference in how my life works, how I interact with others, and so forth. Anyway, you are also going to be journaling. 1, you're going to be given monthly questions to journal on as part of your homework. So this will be some of the inner work that you do independently. You're also going to be journaling on the guidance and information you received during the guided practices done during the class. And then you're going to email your monthly you're going to email me your journal entries on a monthly basis. And this is also a good place where you can keep in touch with me if you have a question or you want some support or, maybe think it's time for a little consultation. Once per month or more, if it suits you, you're going to share your homework and journal notes with another participant. This breaks the isolation habit and allows both people to be heard and witnessed in their processes. I want you to share with I statements, not you statements. It's very empowering to share experience like, well, when I was in the meditation, I received this information, or I had this sensation come over me, or I had the distinct sense that this is what was going on. Now, it's much better than saying, well, when you, and then you, and then, but and then that is too confusing, and it's not helpful. I statements is what really works. And you're not to give advice. Nobody needs to give advice. You're just sharing your experience, strengths, and hope with another person. So you're also committing to self-care. You're going to use the tracking form provided to log your self-care appointments with whatever services you find useful and helpful, so that you can kind of see whether you're doing the self-care on a regular basis. And we can talk in your interview about what kinds of self-care you really want to explore or use more of or continue with. So the online tracking sheets you're going to submit weekly, so that I can follow your progress also. And that's also a good place for you to just say, hey, Annie, I've got this question about such and such, and I'll make sure to answer you and provide some actual support that way. So I assume that with your enrollment, you've given me permission to privately discuss with you your goals and progress along the way, and also to occasionally check in with you on the energy plane, just to look at your energies and see how you look as your energy systems, and see if there are any hitches or something that I'm getting that I need to alert you to. Now, this is only $50 a month. This is a total steal. It's a very comprehensive program for very little money, and now is the best time to get in on this. I can help you. You can register today. And with your reminder, there was a downloadable registration form for the Chronic Wellness Program, the Chronic Wellness Process Support Group registration form. If you don't have it, please let me know when I unmute you, and I can email the registration form to you. There are 2 groups you can choose from. You can join the Tuesday group, or you can join the Saturday group. So the Tuesday group meets at 3:30 Pacific time for 2 hours. And the Tuesday group is going to be starting January 30th. The Saturday group starts at 10 a.m. Pacific, and it begins on Saturday, February 17th. Now, these Saturdays are, the last, on the Tuesday group, it's like the last Tuesday of the month or the third Saturday of the month, with only 1 or 2 exceptions on either group. And I wrote each particular date. Every date that you're having Chronic Wellness Support Group is written in the registration form, so you can really look at your plans for the year and mark your calendars and make sure that you get the support you need. You can pay your tuition on my website, anniechannels.net. I've got a PayPal Buy Now button, and it's a drop-down button that if you select the last offering, which it says CWP Support Group $50, that's the one you want to pay your tuition, and then you're started. Great. The Buy Now button is on the right side towards the bottom of the home page. Further invitations. I can help you in at least 2 other ways. Have a Divine Portal Akashic Records reading with me. I have 30 years experience doing readings. I love it. I live to do readings. Readings are so fundamentally a part of what I am here to do as my sole purposes. I love to do readings. I can help you, and I certainly want to. And right near the Buy Now button is also a Click to Schedule button where you can sign up for either a phone reading or an in-person reading. And that, too, is on the home page, bottom right of my website, anniechannels.net. So the other thing I offer is a complimentary weekly meditation. Every Wednesday morning, I lead a guided meditation into the light at 7 a.m. sharp, and we're done by 7:30, 7:31, like that. It's held on the same phone line that you can just call in, and use the same access codes to get in every Wednesday morning at 7 o'clock. This is Pacific time, by the way. So which one of you is going to join me for this great adventure? And I'm going to unmute you now so we can actually... Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Linda, and welcome. I'm so glad you joined us.
Hello?
Hello.
Annie,
This is Annie.
This is Linda in New York.
I understand. I see your name up here. I can tell that it's you calling in. And so, and along with my other friend, Anna, who's calling from Marin County, California.
Oh, Anna, I'm jealous. You're in Marin County. I visited there once. It's so beautiful.
Oh.
Well, Annie, you were right. This is right up my alley. But
yeah.
Your voice was a little muffled. I didn't get the price of this.
It's only $50 per month.
Okay, $50 per month. That's fine. I can do that.
And, yeah, it's not a bunch of money. It does require you doing some homework. You definitely will have homework.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do my best on that. I can't promise perfection because
that's
I've
not
never
required.
been perfect, but I will. I'll make sincere attempts.
That's the way to work it. On this call, are you on your computer or you're on a phone? You're on a phone. Okay.
I'm on a telephone.
I'm going to email you the registration form.
Okay.
So you can fill that out, and then we'll set up a 30-minute consultation to go over what your intentions are and what your special needs are, okay?
Okay.
So we make appropriate goals, right? I don't want a bunch of goals that just scare you off. That's not worth it. You know?
Right.
So I will email that to you. And Anna, I know that you were pretty well enrolled in some other class, or you're currently enrolled in another class. Is that true?
Yes, for the next 3 years.
Okay, great.
But
did you have any questions?
I'd love to do this. I would love to do this anyway. Let me think about this. It would be the Saturday group, and so it would start. And I've applied for a job, and it's just a job to be a responsible person here where I live. And
great.
I will find out if I get that, then I'll have some extra money.
So great.
So I think this would fit in with what the other things that I'm doing, and I'd really like to. It feels like it'd be more of a personal kind of connection for me, which I'd really like. So
that's the idea.
Yeah. So so let you know. I'll let you know later on if I get this job or if I'll figure out how to manage my finances so that I can do it somehow.
That's great. Well, I will email you a registration form and the information on Dr. Berry and the Beamer, like that, as we had talked about before. And Linda, do you think you have a good picture of what the support group's about? And
yeah, it's not totally clear to me, but I have a general idea. I'm going to need a little more clarification. But Saturday is the only day that works for me, and Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning, I go to the Y for water aerobics.
That's terrific.
So
That's great.
So I cannot do the Wednesday morning meditation with you.
Because it's 10 o'clock at your time.
Yeah. And I have to leave my apartment about 9:15, 9:30.
Okay. Well, what I can do, Linda, is make sure you have a way to link with the meditations that I do every Wednesday. I record each one, and I have this big list of meditation recordings that you can actually access. So you can use the heck out of them. I just numbered them yesterday, and I think there's 36 of them. So
wow.
It's not, you don't have to get bored, or you'll have a huge selection.
Okay. Tell me, how many months does this class last?
Well, I figure it's throughout the year.
Okay.
Healing is not overnight. Healing is a process, and that's why I call it the chronic wellness process. Because, like you say, not perfection. I'm not perfect. I can't promise perfection, but I know that by taking these actions and applying this kind of self-discipline, or acquiring self-discipline, I got better. And it does take time. Nothing is overnight. And if it's overnight, I want to hear about it.
That's not going to happen with me. I know right now. It's
going
to be a process.
Yes, and the truth is, spiritually and as a personality, a weak little human being with flaws, if I got healed overnight, I'd probably be shocked, or I wouldn't have learned the lessons that I needed by spending some time being disabled. I just wouldn't have. And
right.
If it's true, it's my soul's idea to have me have a chronic illness so that I can learn things, then there you go. I needed time to be able to learn a variety of things.
Yeah. Right,
and
right.
That's okay. That's what we're here to do.
Right, right. I just feel so sickly and crappy and pain.
Yeah.
Every day, all day.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see what we can do about that, and remember how you said during your reading that there was no pain in your body when you were having a reading.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to be in that divine portal Akashic Records space that you were in during your reading, and that will probably lift a lot of the suffering.
Wow.
And I'm going to give you the portal prayer for groups to work with, to have for yourself, so that when you're doing your homework, you can read that prayer and then start your homework and start addressing these questions that I'm going to tell you to write about. And it's a whole different experience to be in that Akashic space with your masters, your teachers, and your loved ones helping you. We're giving you some big assets, some big help, bigger than even me, because I'm just a little human. What I count on is the fact that my masters, teachers, and loved ones will help me, and they know what to do, whereas me and my little self, my little personality, I don't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's wonderful. Annie, I'm very excited about this.
That's great. I'm happy too. I'm really happy too. I mean,
Anna, Oh, I was just going to address Anna. That is the other woman's name, right?
Anna.
And pardon?
Anna, I prefer.
Anna in Marin County. You said we'd be matched up with partners?
Yep. And you both want Saturday, right?
Yeah, I want Saturday.
Right, great. And did you say the same thing? You said the same thing, didn't you, Anna?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
great.
Well, Anna, I'd love to be your partner if you do decide to do this.
That's so cool. Thank you. I can't promise anything right this minute, but I do have one vision I had that I want to share, because it goes along with what we're doing, and it's that I was living out in Northern California in the woods, and I got called to go outside. It was like in the summer, and sit outside under a tree. So I sat under this tree, and as I was sitting there, had just learned how to ground, so I was just grounding myself. It was back in the 70s. And I had, all of a sudden, I saw these light beams that were in the forest, like as tall as the trees, like 30 feet, redwoods, really big. And these three beings, and the minute they, manifested, it was like my whole consciousness changed. It was, I felt just an incredible amount of wonderful energy. It was just beautiful. We were talking earlier about the Christ light. It was that kind of sparkly, beautiful light, and there were like three giant light beams. And they said, the one said to me, "You've asked for the healing light to come to this land, and we just want you to know that it will be here, but not right away." And so, and then when they left, they said it will come in the form of a ship. And then they started to leave. As they left, I was left with what I call my puny consciousness, and I realized it's like all this work we do to try to get enlightened. All we have to do is be around more spiritual, in this more spiritual environment, and we're all changed into that energy. So it's like what Annie's doing here, which I really respect and honor, is providing this kind of a cauldron for us to meet and be, and in this space that is a healing in itself, no matter what we do, no matter if we're not perfect or whatever, we don't have to be perfect in order to be really affected by this light and healed by this healing light, and that's coming more and coming to be available now. This, I had seen it come as a form of a spaceship, but the spaceship was as big as a planet. So,
wow.
so it just this incredible energy, love, and it was affecting everybody that in the world in different ways. And then this was back in the 70s, and it was like, it was polarizing, and all the people who were really messed up were more messed up, and all the people that were in the light were more in the light, and that's exactly what's happening right now. So anyway, I love sharing.
What a beautiful experience that
was.
was.
Incredible. Yeah, really stayed with me.
I could feel the energy,
and it's kept me going. Because I've been so many. I've had strokes since then. I've had lots of loss, and physical stuff and mental stuff, and I just keep coming back to that dream where they just came to visit to keep me going. It's like there's more to this life than what we see, and we don't have to do it all. It's a matter of just putting ourselves in the place where we can accept this.
Amen.
Oh, that's wonderful, Anna. Really a beautiful, beautiful story and thought.
Yeah.
I concur. It's like, if I can make a practice of making myself available for that spiritual support that's always there, if I slow down and ask for help. That's one of my themes for this year, is ask for help. Annie, ask your guide. You have really good guides. You have master's teachers and loved ones. All you have to do is ask for help. And one of my teachers was saying, Annie, you can the universe can create this program through you much easier than you can conjure it up yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
And, so that's part of what I'm offering here, is how do we place ourselves in a position to receive the love and the nurturing and the information that we need that will help us get through these times in our lives.
Yeah.
And make the living much better.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready to sign up right now.
Great. I'm gonna when I get off the call, I will email you the registration form.
Okay, now remember, I'm the one who's technically challenged and couldn't do it over my iPad last time. You had to take my fee manually, my credit card number manually.
Great. Well, we can do that again. That's no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, that's no problem. I will. What I'll do is when we get off this call, then I will call you back and we'll handle that. And maybe can I email you the registration form and you can print it out?
I have a new printer and I don't know how to use it. It doesn't work for me. I've tried.
And I don't have a printer, and I have an iPad.
Yeah.
I had to call my favorite guys and say, listen, I got the new computer and it's Wi-Fi, and I don't know how to set up the printer. And they just went, oh, good. Well, I can get in remotely and I can set the printer up for you.
No
kidding.
So,
you know.
Oh.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're wonderful. This is Russell and Robert, and they're part of a group I belong to, and I love them. They're just really, really good guys, you know.
Yeah.
And even my boyfriend trusts them, which is saying a lot.
Oh, are these people that I could work with too?
Sure. Yeah. I'll also connect you with R&R consultants.
Okay.
And, you know, they're obviously going to be working on California time, so I have to make adjustments there.
Right.
But you can call them up and see if you can make an appointment or if they can do that with you now.
I'll spend the afternoon going back, reading the directions over again, and seeing if I can figure it out.
Okay.
I haven't given it enough of attention.
Like
so,
a real 100% try.
I've just tried little bits, gotten frustrated, and walked away. So today I will really try to see if I can master it and get it working. And I'll see what I can do.
You don't have to print it out. If you can fill out the form online. It's designed, if you can open that attachment, then you can get on there and start putting your name in there. It's going to move some stuff around and kind of change the way it looks, but you can at least put your answers in.
That doesn't work on my iPad. I've tried it
really?
with my taxes last year. I couldn't fill out forms that he sent me. And I've had other forms that I've had to fill out online. And I can't do it from my iPad, but I do have a new MacBook Air, which again I haven't used. I'm scared of it. I'm scared to touch it. But,
I understand that sensation, you know.
Me. I'm too old for this stuff. My head's going to explode.
No, I'm always. I used to sell semiconductors in the early 80s to all these fancy companies like Hewlett-Packard and Sun Microsystems. I mean, really big companies. I did not have any idea what I was doing. And I thought if I touched the wrong button on a computer, the screen was going to crack and it was going to start smoking. You know, and you know, it was very strange to be selling the parts that go in them and not know how to use one. And I've had to learn over time, and I just ask people questions on how to do stuff. And you may be able to sit down with R&R remotely, and they can help you get set up. You know, get your password for your email set up in there, and you know, that kind of thing. I have a MacBook Pro, which is nowhere near a MacBook Air, but you know, it's very easy. The Mac wants you to get set up. It kind of walks you through it.
Okay.
But I know what you mean. And when I get stuck and I get frustrated and I think I can't, then I call somebody who can.
Yeah.
We have a similar background. I used to work for this company called Mastering Computers, where I would sell computer training to people, and I had to. It was like to organization, businesses like IBM and stuff like that. So I'd have to call and I had a whole bunch of training. I'd come at 6 o'clock in the morning and get training on just the language so that I could talk about it. I could never do any of this stuff, but I knew exactly how to sell it so that people could use it, because everybody needed it at that point, because it was Microsoft just didn't work. It was so
right.
Yeah.
It was a mess.
Wow.
I mean, especially for big companies. So we had a bunch of really smart guys, and they could do that. But it's interesting. We have that same kind of background, because it's like, I know people would say, well, you know about computers, and I said, yeah, it's about an inch deep, you know.
I mean, it's been that way. I mean, my first couple of years of trying to grow tomatoes, really bad outcome. It was miserable. They looked like they had been hit by a nuclear blast. And my best friend is this farmer living off the land, you know, up in eastern Washington. I'm like, what do you do when it's like this? And she says, oh, yeah, you just have some bad years. You get better at it. I'm like, oh, no. You know, I put my heart and soul into these things, and I really wanted some homegrown tomatoes. But, you know, here, the third year or fourth year, last year I produced some serious tomatoes. It was beautiful. So, you know what? It's just sticking with it and learning, learning. And, you know, my perfectionistic part wants to be the best in the class right now.
Right.
Even if I've never, ever spoken this language or done this activity, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, that's a part of who I am. And I have to just go, okay, easy girl, down girl, be nice. And I know my perfectionist helps me to reach for higher and to be better and to push myself a bit. But also, pardon me?
Stick with it.
Right, exactly. But when my perfectionist is running the show, it's more like self-will, and I'm not getting my way. And, you know, I have to just drop back and go, wow, there must be an easier way to be in this process, you know? And acknowledge that I'm learning. And I like that line earlier in the talk, too. It's better done than perfect. You know, if there are grammar issues, we'll work with them. I could probably figure it out, you know. As long as I can get the gist of what you're trying to express and report, that's all I care about. And the thing about writing things down, in the Akashic Records, there are 3 levels of energy transmission. The strongest is the spoken word. The second strongest is the written word, and the least strong is the thought. So writing things down facilitates the energy transmission in a big way, and it anchors the shift or the knowledge or the piece of information one way or another. It just anchors it.
Here's a thought. I have a very nice notebook that I would like to use to journal in. Could I take a camera photo of that page and email that to you?
I think that'll work. As long as I can read the photograph one way or another, you know, we can always try it.
Okay.
You know, if need be, you make copies of your journal pages and mail them to me or something like that. You know, but I'll bet you along the way you're going to get your MacBook Air set up, because you know, I have a new acronym that one of my clients gave me for fear, because I get fearful too. I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. You know, it happens all the time. Clients will ask a question. It's like, I don't know anything about that. I don't need to know anything about that. Their guides will tell me what they need to know about that. You know, but the new acronym for fear, it used to be future events already ruined. And the new acronym is feeling excited and ready.
Oh,
that's great. Yeah.
Nice shift in energy,
I
huh?
love that. I'm going to write that down.
I live by acronyms, folks.
And you know,
Okay.
I have a really difficult time reading and writing. That's part of my stroke. Is like it's really, really hard. And I'm doing this other schoolwork, and I just came to a big understanding over this last week about this, because I keep trying to write, and then suddenly I'll get something just written down, but I can't read it. Then it's like, and all of a sudden I've touched some button or something, and it's moved a whole chunk of stuff into a whole different direction. So it's like really, really hard. I don't have peripheral vision, so I can't track. And so
maybe you could record some brief notes about what your experience is and what you're receiving as energy. Or
came to this week was that because I've got all this homework I have to do for my other classes, is that I just turned on the computer, turned on the video, and started talking. And so, okay, now I can tell my stories, and there they are. And it's like, it's my own voice, and I had this really incredible realization, because I had a lot of fear about doing that, how I would look, and if I was loved, blah, blah, blah. I did it in the midst of thinking that today might be my last day. You know, that was my thinking last week. Today may be my last day. And so I'm like, okay, then this is the way I can do it. I can talk. I can still talk. People don't have any problems with talking. But it's writing, reading that writing that's like, oh, and I'm a writer. So it's like it's been my biggest challenge is this thing. So I turned on the thing and I started talking about exactly what was going on with me, the fear that I had, what I was doing and how I was feeling about it. And I listened back to that, and I went, wow, that person. He's really interesting. Whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
I can do this. I can do this, and I can put out my stories like this by doing this, So I'm in a whole different place, but the writing part of it, oh my God, it's so hard, because sometimes I can't tell what the word is. It's a very familiar word, when I can finally get it. But I'm in first grade again going, okay, or third, whenever you start to read, it's like, okay, sound it out, and what does it sound like? And then by that time I've forgotten what the whole rest of the context is.
I relate.
Then I have to go back to reading it in context, and then maybe I can get what the word is, because now I have more of the time. But if I'm not seeing the whole right side of the page, then I only get a certain amount of information that I can read, and then I don't know that I don't see the other rest of the page. So then I go to the line, and it doesn't make any sense. So this is like, it is like, really, this is kind of, talk about a disability. This is like one unseen disability that is just challenged me for the last 5 years for sure.
Well, word finding is still, sometimes I hit a wall with it, and I'll look at my boyfriend and go, well, they're green, they grow on trees, and they're kind of crunchy when you bite into them. And he goes, you mean apples? And I'm like, good one, yes. So it's just.
That's aphasia. And I have that too. With it's like finding the right words to say. But I'm better with that than I am in reading. It's like so frustrating.
Right. Well, I had one client who had trouble reading, so she watched a lot of
videos.
YouTube stuff. Maybe Abraham Hicks or
me too. I'm right there.
Yeah.
So you can get the information, but I've had to learn it. But to say that I'm going to have homework where I have to read and write, it makes me go, Oh, no.
Yes,
And then this other
I
part,
understand.
well, you're never going to get there until you try it, because I've certainly gotten better. My iPad has been the best thing because you can move it up and down, you can make the font bigger, and
Yeah.
not the whole huge page like you look at it in a book.
Right.
It's, when I get all of that many words together, it's like my brain just goes, yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Right, kind of shuts down. I
Yeah.
get it. There's still times when I can't read my writing because of my arm being paralyzed. My writing has never fully recovered. And if I did all the PT and wrote hundreds and hundreds of circles and did the practicing your letters like in second grade or something like that, I could probably get a lot better at it. But I'd rather just put it on the computer and I could type.
Yeah.
But so I think it's wonderful. See, we're all three solving problems in the ways that work for us best. And I can work with a video report of what you experienced, and I can work with audio report if you just want to tell me. That works too, or we'll figure out a way to communicate back and forth. Like, Linda, can you do email, right?
Yeah, I'm good at email. I love my iPad. I can do anything on an iPad that the iPad allows me to do.
Great. Well, you could do your homework on there and just put it in the email, just in the body of the email. I don't care. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever works.
Okay.
We're going to
Well,
do
that
whatever
would be
works.
transcribing it from my notebook that I'd be writing in every day.
Right. Because you'd have to rewrite your notes, maybe. You might have to.
Yeah, because I don't know how to do daily notes to myself on my iPad. I wouldn't know how to I wouldn't know how to journal on an iPad. That I have no idea how to do. I don't know if the iPad is capable of doing that. All I can do is send an email.
Right. You have a Word doc. You have an ability to pull up a Word document like Word.
Not on an iPad.
It's called Write, WRITE, and you can write right in there, and that comes with the iPad. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I got that anything extra, and so it allows you to write a lot of stuff in there that you can, and then you can just put it in
that?
Email. It's like it's in all of those little things that you get on your screen. It's
the little
the icon.
Down at the bottom of the page.
Yeah, it should be there. It's yellow and it has a picture of a pen on this yellow.
I've seen that.
Do you see it?
No.
Well, I've got something it's like striped paper or lined paper with a yellow header.
Yeah.
And that's called Notes.
Notes, yeah, or Messages. There's a couple of things.
Oh, I see Notes. Is it Notes?
Yeah. That's
not
what I'm talking about. The one I'm talking about is called Write, WRITE. And you could look.
I don't have that.
Okay, you might want to get it. It's probably free because I got it. My kids set me up, so I'm not sure. But Write is really it's a popular program, and it works really good for what we're doing to write that. And like I say, then you can just, when you get through typing it in, then you can just send it as an email. It will let you send it as an email.
Here, I'm in apps now. Write for iPad.
WRITE, yeah.
Yeah.
And, I don't care. Just put it in the body of the email. That's fine. Like, make it easy on yourself. If you want to learn a new program, I invite you. I think that's great to add some new skills in that'll make you feel good. And
that is something keep, that's in the right, then it's always there. It's like writing in a journal. If you do the email, then you've got to go back and find which email it was and all that. You know, this is a way to organize it to make it so that it would be like a Word document, but it's not Word. It's just, it's called Write, and I know it's for the iPad because I've got it. But if you look in your programs, if you can get into your, you know,
I'm in the App Store right now.
Okay.
I put Write for iPad.
Yes.
And it's Untitled Screenwriting Notes, Essential Tools for Writers, Microsoft OneNote, Notepad Plus, Writer, a book, write a story, Notepad Plus Pro.
Not just Write, huh?
No, not just Write.
Like, I've got a blue W, and it's Microsoft Word on my MacBook Pro. And then...
Oh, I'm sorry. It's called, it's called Pages. P-A-G-E-S.
Pages.
Pages, yes.
Okay.
I keep forgetting.
Pages for iPad free.
There you go. I don't know if you're
here it is.
Yeah.
Get. Okay.
That's the one I recommend because you can, like I say, it holds it for you. So you just need to title them. Be sure to title them so that you know what you're doing, because it kind of gets lost the first anything. If I go back and write something, that goes to the beginning of it again. But if that makes any sense to you, so. But there's a big space that it will show you what you have, but just be sure to title on the very top what the date or whatever you want to do.
Anna, this is great. I'm in the process of downloading it now. Pages. It's yellow and it has a pen.
Yes.
Going horizontally. Diagonally across the front of the yellow icon. Perfect. It's in the process of downloading. Oh, there. That problem's solved.
Okay, good.
There you go.
Thank you.
That's great, Linda. You are really willing to accept the solution.
Yeah.
Well,
and thank you, Anna, for having
yeah,
right.
Thank God for having me the iPad.
We got to share our tools, you know, because
right.
I can't do this stuff by myself. The things I've had to learn to be a business person, it's just incredible. I'm like, what do you mean I got to put PayPal code on my website? What? I can't do it. I did it. I followed the instructions, or I called the helpline, and they walked me through it.
There you go.
I think, you know, it's just. But it's always like my first initial reaction is, I can't do it. I don't know. You know?
Yep, I know that one.
So, okay, ladies, I have a little homework to work on, and Anna, I'll call you back in a minute, and I will. In the process, I'll also be sending you the registration form, and to both of you.
Great.
Okay, you don't call me back, right? This is Anna.
Oh, I'm sorry, Linda. I'm going to call Linda back.
Yes.
okay.
So that she can take the money. Now, Anna, do you think you're going to sign up today?
No, I have to find out I have to figure if I get the job or not.
The job thing. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, I'll have to hold the job in the light for you.
Okay, I'm not sure. I really
am too, Anna.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm holding it in the light for you, too.
I'm not sure hold it in the light because this is a crazy place to live. I live in low-income housing, and they just told me that they put all the people who are strung out on drugs and would be on the street otherwise. This is where they put them in Marin County. So it's like it's a kind of a iffy place to live, but it's beautiful. I love it, and I like the people, even if they're drug addicts. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we don't like their
right.
addiction, but they're still human beings.
About I'm taking the job because I'm guided to to write it, to apply for it. But I don't think they'll accept me if they find somebody else. They'll probably find a man that could handle more of the stressful stuff than I would be able to deal with or would want to deal with. But who knows? If it's offered to me, I will take it. That's how it is. Because that's my assignment. But and that's what I was guided to do, to apply. So I won't find out probably till it closes on the 1st of the month. So I won't find out after the 1st of the month. And and that's closing, so it might still take another couple of weeks after that. But let me see what I can figure out, and I might just pay for 1 month and see how I can do every month, as we go along, something like that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of it as a long-term thing. It's like, okay, this month, this is how I can pull the money together to do this. So.
And for me, it's like one day at a time, Annie. Don't get too far out in the future, because then I get freaked out.
Yeah,
I get scared out there in front of in the future, looking back. What? What? And it's like, no, back to the present moment. What can I do today that doesn't scare the pants off of me? Reel it in,
I'm doing my volunteer work, and I'm like 20 hours a week. I've been doing this, so it's like it's just an interesting. I'm in, in deep now. I'm into the school. I go to the school of Modern Soul Science. Is what it's called.
Wow.
Online.
Great.
Check it out. You just check it out. School of Modern Soul Science, and it's located in, it's out of Quebec, Canada.
Oh, okay.
So
well, listen, ladies, I think it's time for me to close this talk.
Okay.
And I'll get on with my homework, and I will talk to Linda in a few minutes. But before we close, we're going to close with a prayer, because I believe that opening with a prayer and closing with a prayer sets the spiritual context for any kind of get-together, any kind of meeting. So,
thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it.
Oh, yay, I'm so glad you showed up.
It's wonderful, and I feel so blessed to be a part of this, Annie. Thank you. God bless you for doing this.
Oh, you're so welcome. I feel driven. I just feel like I'm called to do it. And even if nobody showed up, I would still do the talk, record it, and I don't know, just keep going.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here's the closing prayer. We thank the divine for loving guidance, protection, and healing received this day. We thank all beings of light for their wisdom and compassion. And we thank the Holy Spirit for light and truth. Amen.
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 Oh, thank you again to both of you for being with me for this amazing next part of my journey and your journey.
Yes. All right.
Okay. So are you going to call me, or do you want me to call you?
Oh, I'll call you.
Okay.
Oh, wait, and wait a minute. The thing is, I can't do the PayPal. I do it on my phone, and I can't be on the phone while I do it. I remember. I still have your Visa here. Do you want to use the Visa with ending in 6533?
Yes, please. If you still have it, just use that. The one that ends in 6533.
Yes, I have that, and I will just use that.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you so much. And I'll send you the registration form too. I'll email that to you.
Okay, great. Thanks,
and tell
Annie.
me, what's your
Anna,
name?
it's been lovely talking to you.
Tell me what your name is again.
Linda.
Linda. All right, Linda.
Linda.
Yes, I have a cousin, Linda. So I remember
how about that?
She has MS too. It's interesting. Okay.
Wow. All right, ladies, thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.